So, hi everyone, welcome, and thank you for being here today. Today, we're going to learn how to craft courses with substance and soul because creating courses on Wellbee is more on your specialization, which is if you're here, then that means it's holistic health and wellness, anything related to energy healing, homeopathy, naturopathic medicine, Ayurveda, spirituality, anything that's wellness and upgrading someone else's life. If you haven't watched our previous episode, then I urge you to do so before you watch this one. This was our first workshop. And it's really important to get an idea of what Wellbee Academy is about, what we offer, and why it would be of use to you if you're a practitioner and you're just slowly starting or venturing into creating your own courses. The first episode will be linked below, so please go ahead and watch that, but it's also on our Wellbee Social channel on YouTube. So let's get started. I'm going to go through this really, really quickly. And then there is a little, almost like a little nice introduction to Wellbee AI at the end of this. So please watch to the very end so you can get an idea of how Wellbee AI can help you actually create these courses. So the step one is really to understand that every course begins with intention and purpose. We want to reconnect to our purpose throughout our course creation journey. So what transformation do you want your learner to experience by the end of your course? It's not really what you'll teach, but who they'll become after completing your course. So transformation is something that you want to really sit with your learner, empathize with them, and understand what they're going to walk away with after finishing and completing your course. So some of these examples are, and these are examples of transformations by theme, right? So you can have a theme of healing and recovery. So your learner comes overwhelmed and then they leave at the end of your course feeling empowered. So an example would be participants will identify and practice a daily grounding ritual to support healing. So something that they do, that they come out and it transforms them. It not only teaches them, but it transforms who they're becoming. Even if you are teaching a professional development course to other practitioners, then you can have a transformation goal of an unclear offering that transforms them into a confident facilitator of that practice or modality. So an example would be practitioners will design and deliver aligned wellness sessions within their scope. Another example would be creative flow. If they feel blocked, so they come with that course feeling blocked, and then they end it feeling expressive. So an example would be learners will create from stillness and intuition rather than pressure. So these are different examples, but that's the idea of the transformation by your theme. So here's a mini exercise. It's 2 minutes. Think about it, put a pause on your video, and just think about what your theme is. My theme is, and by the end of this course, I want my learners to feel blank and to know how to blank. And because of this transformation, what your ideal outcome would be. So go ahead and pause this video for 2 minutes, and you can do this little exercise to see where you're at in terms of thinking about the course that you want to create. This is your course's heartbeat. Everything from lessons, visuals, pricing, it should align with this transformation. The bigger the transformation, the bigger the change. There are probably more intense lessons, more intense content, and probably a higher price because the course probably is longer. So that gives you a good idea of where to even price your course. And it always ties down to the transformation. If your students walk away with this shift, know that you have succeeded. If your students walk away having been transformed, then you have taught something. You have had someone change because of your expertise and because of your willingness to share your knowledge to the world. Step two, this is where we align transformation with course structure. If intention is the heart, then structure is the spine. So structure is really going to hold all of this together. So your course isn't just a list of lessons, it's a guided journey. Every lesson, activity, and reflection should move your learner one step closer to the transformation you need. So that is something that throughout creating your course, you will have your transformation in mind. And how do we align transformation with the course structure? So, for example, if we take the transformation of from fatigue to vitality, the course flow, how do we flow into the course structure, the course outline to allow for this transformation to take place or to invite your learner into this transformation? So we might start with something as basic as awareness. Let's just notice how our energy drains. Let's notice what causes us fatigue. Let's notice and take awareness of how things are happening. And then in the middle of your course, have a process of resetting. Okay, so what are the techniques that the learner is going to incorporate and integrate where they learn how to rebalance? So maybe it's rebalancing with rest, for example. And then the last bit, which would be evidence of their transformation, is how they're integrating it. So the actual practice. So for example, it could be daily renewal rituals, right? So what happens is with the transformation, it flows. Your whole course ends up being coherent and aligned. And the milestones that you have from beginning to middle to end to allow for this transformation to take place actually ends up becoming your topics and lessons within the course. And that's how you end up having a course that's coherent. From overwhelmed to empowered, for example, a course of hormone harmony, for example, you might have it flow with these milestones. Understanding what the hormones are, understanding the symptoms. So you may have a topic like meet your hormones. Then you would allow them to track it. How do they track? Which is kind of like they're a little bit one step than just understanding, but actually tracking the changes. So reading the cycles, understanding the significance of it. And then towards the end, well, let's support it, right? So what are the ways and the modalities that we can support hormones to have that rebalancing? So again, if you have your transformation and then you're able to put it through a course flow with different milestones, the milestones become the topics and the bones of your course outline. So again, put a pause on the video, another mini exercise with your transformation in mind. What are 3 milestones your learner will cross completing your course? So you could have 3 milestones, you could have 5 milestones, 6 milestones. Remember, this is all based on the intensity of the transformation. So the more intense, the larger the change, then you'll know that you need more milestones, more topics, more structure, more lessons, and also your price also may go up higher. These milestones become your topics. So the more milestones you add, the more topics, okay? So put a pause in the video, have a think, and then continue on. When your structure mirrors your transformation, your course feels coherent, alive, and easy to build. The journey becomes obvious, not only for you, but for your learners as well. And the more coherent your course is, the more structured it is and wholesome, your learner will go through it easily. They will process it quickly. They will go lesson to lesson to lesson, and it won't be so overwhelming or confusing to them. So if you finished last week's video and you did the homework and you did the work and you attended the workshop, then I want you to examine your chosen course outlines. Take a chance to see what of this now reflects the transformation and the milestones that you really, really want to share with your learners. Remember, a strong outline keeps your energy clear. It helps learners follow the transformation step by step without confusion or overwhelm. And that's what you want. So think of the topics as the larger shift within the transformation. So each one reflects a stage of transformation. For example, remember your body's wisdom. Really vague, really broad, but it's the bigger transformation, the milestone. And then within the topics are the lessons, the specific concept, the practice, the teaching that supports this milestone. So for example, lesson 1.1 could be listening to your body signals. And then we have the reflection. So with every lesson, there should be some sort of reflection that you do, or a learning, or an exercise, or a quiz, or an assessment. Why? Because it keeps, one thing, it keeps your learners engaged. And number two, it really allows learning to actually take place. If they're able to produce, if they're able to give, if they're able to come up with stuff, and it could be as simple as, engaging with a group that you create on Wellbee that ties into your course. You could have them post something, or you could have them reflect on a particular lesson or give a comment. What that does is it causes engagement, and that higher success in learning. So before we create content, like actually the lessons and the details and all of that, what we want to do is assess what levels of mastery are we aiming for when our learner walks away from the course? Who is your course for? And some people think that maybe this is the first thing that they come up with, oh, this is a beginner course, or intro course, or it's for practitioners. But it's deeper than that. If you have your transformation done and you have your milestones, and then you look at the levels of mastery, you're going to realize that maybe, just maybe, some of the topics that you've considered may be for a different level of mastery. So it's really important to have that flow in your mind, that you're first going to assess transformation, then the milestones. Then we're going to use that information of the transformation and the milestones to assess the levels of mastery. And we're going to see why. Before writing the lessons, you have to decide which level of learner you are addressing. So when we talk about foundations, we talk about beginners, or those filling gaps in learning. So the focus could be on clarity, on safety, and simple practices. Introduction to breath work, understanding energy basics. And if you keep on with that focus of safety and simplicity, your entire course is for beginners. The last thing that you want to do is have a beginner's course and then inundate them with scientific analysis or research or all of that, because then it causes for overwhelm and then higher potential for your learners to drop out, which you don't want. So you want to stick to the level that you are addressing. Level 2, we call it growth, but it's usually what we know as intermediate. So for learners refining existing skills or seeking depth and reflection, the focus would be analysis, a little depth, some amount of application. So applying homeopathic philosophy to chronic cases, that would be growth. A good idea would be to do like an intro beginner course that's really short, really easy, really quick, and maybe offered for free so that your learners can then assess whether they want to go deeper. Integration is when you go obviously for the advanced. So you're either teaching to other practitioners in different modalities, or you're teaching us an exceptional research application or tool that they could add to their existing practice. And it's mostly for synthesis or mentorship. So focus on integration, research oriented, and expansion. So this is when you're teaching other practitioners to expand either into different modalities to assist them better, or the practitioners within the modality to use tools that could help them even further. So for example, would be integrating trauma-aware practice into clinical work. So that's usually integrating little extensive and maybe a little bit more complicated tools. Think of your outline as the map that keeps your learner and your energy on course. So when structure flows from transformation, clarity replaces chaos. So at first, you may look at all these different topics that you want to teach, but they're not going to be outlined coherently unless you have these things: the transformation, the milestones, and the levels of mastery. So another exercise, go ahead and put a pause on the video or take a little break and actually assess now which level does your course belong to. Does your outline fulfill the level, transformation, and milestones? And if it doesn't, pause, breathe, reevaluate your course outline. We haven't made any content yet, so it's okay to do it again now and not later. So pause this video and actually do the exercise. Okay, let's continue. So before creating lessons and content, course standards, we want to create value for your courses. Really, really important is to maintain integrity, clarity, and care in every single lesson. And that's how you create value. It's how your learners leave away walking, having been transformed, and also coming back for more learning. So how do we add value to your course? Keeping up with course standards helps your learners walk away feeling empowered, transformed, and of course, coming back for more. So every course should reflect clarity and intention. Every lesson has a clear goal and intention. Structure and flow. Follow a simple rhythm. Awareness, practice, integration. Bring awareness to whatever it is that you're teaching, let them practice, and be able to integrate. Integrity and ethics. You teach from experience. Stay within your professional scope. Do not go outside your professional scope or your expertise. Those are things that you are able to teach what you know and what you've experienced, so stick with that. Your voice and your presence, write in your authentic tone, calm and clear. If you're shy making videos, it's okay. Try it out. It will not harm, and it will only bring you closer to your learners. If you are able to create those videos and teach yourself, it's as though you're in front of a classroom dynamic. Engagement and safety. Offer reflection, journaling, and gentle practice. Be very careful with what you are teaching. Have disclaimers that this is not meant to replace a practitioner or professional's guidance, that if they do need care or emergency situations, to please get that help and care that they need. This is not a replacement, but this is for learning. So whatever practices, make sure that they're gentle and that they're easy to conduct and that they're safe. Offer continuous growth. So the great thing about Wellbee Academy is your courses are your own. Your content is 100% your own, and you can always go back and edit your courses. You can edit the content, you can edit the lessons, the assessments at any point in time. So if you invite feedback regularly from your learners, use that time to redo or edit some of the things that don't make sense, or add more content or remove them as appropriate. Well, you might be thinking this is a lot and you're really overwhelmed. A lot of information, I still can't do it. This is creating a course. Maybe I'm going to walk away saying, no, I can't do it. So then don't do it alone. Okay. And this is why we took a lot of effort and we created Wellbee AI, because we want Wellbee AI to help you create your course. And we want Wellbee AI to give you the confidence, the support that you need. So what I did was I actually took actual chat screens from chatting with Wellbee AI to give you this information. So I'm not inventing this or marketing her in a particular way. She's free to use. Go ahead on wellbee.social. An introduction is there. You can chat with her right there. But if you really want to go deep and chat with her some more and get some course outlines, then sign up on Wellbee if you haven't done so already. Again, it's free. So let's see what she has to say. So I went on to Wellbee AI and I just typed, I'd like to create a course. She does know that I'm a homeopath. She asked whether I was a professional or someone or an enthusiast seeking assistance or more information, but I told her that I was a homeopath. So she does know that I'm a homeopath. So when I then chatted with her and I said, I'd like to create a course, she responds with, perfect, let's create a course that will resonate with your students and align with your vision as a homeopath. Before we dive into building your course outline, I need to understand your goals and your students better. Let me ask you one focused question at a time. First, who is your ideal student for this course? She talks about beginners curious about homeopathy and wanting foundational knowledge, aspiring homeopaths looking to deepen their practical skills, existing practitioners from other modalities wanting to integrate homeopathy, or people with specific health concerns, chronic illness, mental health, women's health, or a mix of different levels. And this will help her shape and engage your learners with the right course structure, depth, and teaching approach. So she first gathers information about the type of course that you need. And then once I gave her the answer, then she talks about what is the primary transformation, that word again, or outcome you want your students to achieve by the end of this course. She also goes on to give an example. Are they learning to confidently select remedies for common acute women's health issues, or mastering deeper chronic case management, or both? So Again, she's trained already with this concept, so it's not something that you have to pull out just by seeing this video, but that she will help you guide you using these tools. So this is exactly what she really does and what she's trained on. So I actually just went ahead on the chat and asked her, look, Wellbee, how do you help me create a course? And this is what she said. Phase 1, I clarify your vision. Core transformation. You're already thinking about this. So from confusion, uncertainty to confident remedy selection, from overwhelmed by options, strategic informed choices. Your 3 key milestones, the phases learners move through. So examples would be awareness, skill building, mastery, and integration. So she does this for you, and the way she does it is by asking you questions and making you reflect on the things that you want. So you don't have to do it alone. You do have a colleague by your side, a collaborator who's willing to help you. Phase 2, understanding your learners and scope. So she says, I'll ask, who is your ideal student? Homeopathy students, practitioners, health enthusiasts? Do they have any prior knowledge level? Are they beginner, intermediate, advanced? What is the acute versus chronic focus? What's the ratio, emphasis? Specific women's health topics, menstrual health, fertility, menopause, pregnancy-related, emotional, hormonal balance. So even if you go with her with uncertainty, she'll actually do that brainstorming with you, but she'll do it because she's trained with these aspects of creating an exceptional holistic and wellness course. So she's already understanding that the learners are going to undergo a transformation. Because remember, when we teach holistic health and wellness disciplines, we're not teaching math and geometry. We're teaching skills. We're teaching transformation tools. We are teaching health-related life techniques and tools for them to use. So whether you're teaching practitioners or you're teaching the average beginner, there is a change, there is a transformation that is occurring. And she knows it. Phase 3, course architecture. So once she has an idea of the transformation and the levels of mastery, that's when she breaks it down and she actually starts building the course architecture. So what she calls the module breakdown, how, for example, 12 modules align with your milestones, learning outcomes per module, what students can do after each lesson, and practical elements. So case studies, remedy materia medica, deep dives, practice exercises. So that, again, would be related to my topic that I was chatting with her, which is a course on homeopathy. So phase 4, instructor profile. So now she's actually curious about who you are and do you have the tools that make you the right teacher? So what are your bio and credentials? And she helps you to put that on the course page on Academy so you highlight yourself as the expert in that field. She also explains to you which course tags and categories you could use for the course, which is something Wellbee Academy allows for you to use within the course. So whether they're beginner friendly or professional development. And then she will come up with a compelling overview for prospective learners, your course description, which again will come on the course page. And remember, your instructor, your profile on Academy is separate than the one on social, and you can build that out separately by putting more of your expertise as an instructor and as a teacher. Phase 5 is your lesson structure, and that includes the media, the content format, so video, text, PDFs, interactive exercises. She will give you ideas and inspiration for all of those topics, assessment methods, quizzes, case study submissions, reflections, etc. So she's now, eager to start with me. So when she was chatting, she was like, let's begin with step 1 from the protocol. What transformation do you want your learners to experience? So she's already starting with, understanding what you want to do with your course. And, I really did go ahead another step further. And I asked her, well, you're sitting and helping me create this course, but how are you any different from any of the other AI tools? So she went ahead and she's very proud of herself. So she decided to tell me all the things that ChatGPT and the other modules do. Generic AI, they create outlines based on topic keywords alone. They produce a flat linear structure, model 1, model 2, model 3. There's no alignment with holistic principles or ethics. They treat all courses the same regardless of discipline. They focus on content delivery rather than transformation. and they don't account for learner safety, embodiment, or integration. There's no reference to actual platform standards or even best practices. And because we're teaching holistic health and wellness, it's a altogether different ballgame. And we even have to adhere to standards and best practices that other AI tools are not familiar with or not trained in. So the rhythm that Wellbee AI uses is, while generic AI goes topic, content, done, Wellbee AI will really try to first understand your vision, transformation, and milestones, who your learners are, what level, what they need, and what they require, your scope, your expertise, whether you want to dive into specific topics or whether you want to focus on acute versus chronic. She's trained to have an aligned structure. So the modules that flow through the milestones, and she focuses on what those milestones look like, and she'll brainstorm with you. She'll then do the lesson design, keeping in mind outcomes, practices, safety, and integration. And she will help you create materials that are easy to build on Wellbee Academy, and where you can take the materials that she provides and easily upload them onto Wellbee Academy. So, if you're still here and you are convinced, I want you to go ahead, log into Wellbee, use Wellbee AI to generate lessons based on your transformation milestones and standards. You take one topic from your course outline and just expand it onto the lessons. You add one practical activity to each lesson. And that would be a good idea. And remember, the practical activities can be as easy as commenting on a group or reflecting or anything like that. It doesn't have to be complicated. And if you're still here, you can put a pause and do this little exercise. Okay, so I'm almost done here, but I do want to give you some homework before our next workshop. The next workshop is the last workshop that I'm going to do as a group. After that, I'm actually going to take on one-on-one and guide you through your individual course privately with Wellbee AI, and I will work with you to see how we can build it on Wellbee Academy. So the next workshop is really important to attend. That's when we are going to dive into media and visuals and what that looks like. But after that group workshop, it's one-on-one. And if you want one-on-one, please send me a message on Wellbee. And I'm Karina Budrani, and you can send me a message there and let's discuss a time where we can meet face to face over Zoom and work on your course and get that up there. But for now, before our next workshop, focus on creating the lessons for each topic in your course outline. Stick to only text for now, because we're going to do all the media stuff and the visuals and the engagement in the next workshop. But stick to only text for now. Use any familiar text software. You can use Pages on Mac or MS Word. Keep each lesson 10 minutes long. And there's a reason for this. You don't want your lesson to go on for like 30 minutes for them to complete, because what that does is it's almost like the dopamine effect, that every time they click next, 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 it makes them happy that they're progressing and that they're going further and further. So if you find that your lesson is just extending 20, 30 minutes, the chances are higher that you'll have someone dropping out of your course just because they feel that they're still stuck in that lesson. So make sure that your lesson can just go for like 10 or 15 minutes. With social media and Instagram and TikTok, our human beings are just getting, their attention span is just reducing. So we kind of have to work with that. Keep the lessons shorter with text, visuals, images, video, all of that. And so you don't really have to go into too long text, but you do want them still to walk away learning. So make sure your lesson is purposeful. Make sure your lesson is 10 minutes long, and make sure that your lesson has a variety of different ways of learning. Some are auditory, so you could use music, voice. Some use pictures, some use video, and some use text. So try to incorporate a variety of that. But for now, we're just going to do the text part of it. So finalize on your course outline. Use Wellbee AI to help you brainstorm your transformation, your levels of mastery, your milestones. Once you settle on that, do your lessons for each topic, but just stick to text. If you want to put in, here I'm going to put a video and you get inspired, just describe the video or the visual that you want to accompany that text, but don't go around doing the visuals. We'll work on that next workshop where I will be suggesting, and the next workshop will not be recorded, so do attend it. I'll give you the date in just a second, but do attend that workshop. It's live, it's group, and I'm not going to be uploading the recording on that one. And as you create your lessons this week, keep these goals beside you, your transformation, your milestones, your course level, and your course standards. This is non-negotiable. It has to be in front of you the entire time that you're creating your course to keep it aligned, wholesome, and your learners walk away feeling satisfied, feeling that they accomplished something, feeling transformed in a particular way. So mark your calendar, Wednesday, November 12th at 12 p.m. Mountain Time or 2 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to bring your courses to life. In our next workshop, we'll focus on making your course visually and energetically engaging while keeping it simple, soulful, and true to you. Again, the next workshop is not going to be recorded. So if you are interested in being able to bring your courses to life, make sure that you come prepared and you take some time for this live workshop. And then if you want a one-on-one with me, you can send me a message and we can book that as well to work on your individual course. But thank you for coming today. And I hope this has helped you in some way. I hope you leave feeling transformed. And go ahead and play around with Wellbee AI on Wellbee. And I will see you on Wednesday, November 12th. Thank you.